Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of Cults on This Podcast Sounds Exhausting. I'm Sarah Austin.
I'm Vanessa Tyler. And I will not be burping. Because Sarah just said I'm not allowed to.
First and foremost, we hope you enjoyed the train wreck that was part 1. Look forward to a similar train wreck for part 2.
Yay!
Because I have no outline done. I just have a bunch of notes that are not put in order and a lot of shit in my head, and we're just gonna figure
That's just
it
you
out
every day.
from there.
You got a lot of shit in your head and you're just gonna figure it out from there.
I have no
That's how
like
you take on the day.
I have no like script written out, nothing. So
Nada. Zip.
we're just gonna see how this one goes.
She was shot. Just like Sylvia Brown.
Yeah.
She has nothing. She has no information. She just makes it up. She was shot.
No, I have all the information. I'm just hoping I can lay it out in a way that makes sense. But after listening back to part 1, I kept saying that in this episode, I was going to be doing the Order of the Solar Temple, which is absolutely not what I'm doing or what I was trying to say or think of.
That sounds like the Fifth Element or something.
Yeah, it's like a whole separate thing that we could end up doing something on, but it's absolutely has nothing to do with what I'm talking about today, which is Heaven's Gate. Which is, I think after like listening to all the stuff I did, reading all the stuff I did, probably.
Oh my God, the Order of the Solar Temple is a secret society.
Yeah.
That are the Knights Templar. And I think they guard like the blood of Jesus or something.
I don't know, but it's not at all what I was thinking of or trying to. I think because we were talking about the People's Temple, I was getting like mixing shit up. I don't know, but it's not at all what I was trying to talk about. What I'm trying to talk about today is Heaven's Gate.
Surprise!
But first, I wanted to let you know something I saw on Facebook today, which is that the History Channel is about to release on May 31st an all-new series called Unidentified: Inside America's UFO Investigation. Premieres Friday, May 31st. I thought it was kind of fitting to put that in today. If you guys don't know, this is going to be the people that run To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science. I could be wrong. I think that's what their group is called. But anyways, it's Tom DeLonge from Blink-182. It's his. He left Blink-182 to become a UFO investigator.
Wow.
And so now he has this new show on History Channel. So I am.
With all these UFO investigators and tourist sites, because I went to Sedona recently with a girlfriend, and they had that there. You can sign up at night and go with kooks and look up at the sky and think everything you see is a UFO. You'd think by now we'd have something concrete, and we sure don't.
Well, I think History Channel is going to help us out.
The History Channel.
It's the History Channel. And who can you trust more than Tom DeLonge from Blink-182?
First of all, I don't know if you've seen it, but I'm going to reference South Park again because it's been a while. They have an episode about the History Channel, and they talk about Thanksgiving and how they were all aliens. Everything was aliens. Just everything was aliens, and they just make up shit, and it's so elaborate and makes no sense. And Stan's like, this makes no sense. This isn't the History Channel anymore. Like next on the History Channel, UFOs, aliens, nothing about history, nothing about facts.
I feel like I can buy the alien thing more than the Jesus Christ thing.
That's fine. Don't call it the History Channel. Call it the.
We don't know it's not our history. This
weird
is a UFO well, it kind of
fine.
is a UFO episode.
And call it that. We don't know that this is history. That would be the most accurate thing they could call that channel besides
this
the
could be History Channel.
We don't know. We have no.
This could be our history. The channel.
This could be it. What the hell?
So I got like all my info from Wikipedia, YouTube, some podcasts. There was a good Rolling Stones article online about it. And then, of course, heavensgate.com.
Yes, because their website is still up from 1997.
Yeah, it's still up, active, updated. The actual website is not updated at all. You can go to heavensgate.com. It's the same design from the 90s.
Right. When you said it was still up from then, I was like, no way. I went online and looked at it. When I saw it, I was like, this is absolutely, without a doubt, 100% a website from the 90s that hasn't been touched since then.
Well, they still update it. And they still, if you send them an email, they'll email you back. They'll even send you free books, free videos. They don't ask for anything in return. You can make a donation, but you don't have to. That's probably what my husband's going to get for Christmas this year. So
what a rip.
I thought it was pretty interesting, but I'm going to read a little excerpt from Wikipedia just to open it up, and then we'll kind of
tell us a little bit about Heaven's Gate, because you and I know a little bit. We're privy.
Yeah. So Heaven's Gate was an American UFO religious cult based near San Diego, California. It was founded in 1974 and led by Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles. On March 26, 1997, police discovered the bodies of 39 members of the group in a house in the suburb of Rancho Santa Fe. They apparently had participated in a mass suicide in order to reach what they believed was an extraterrestrial spacecraft following the comet Hale-Bopp. So now...
What a comet name. Hale-Bopp.
Hale-Bopp. HALE-BOPP. And it's actually, I think...
PP?
The last...
That's not necessary for it to have two P's.
Of the two people that discovered it.
What a name. Hale-Bopp. Bop.
So Marshall Applewhite, he's definitely a character.
Mm-hmm. He's got, by the way, everybody, if you want, on our Instagram, we're going to put pictures of him.
Yes, for sure.
Like his introductory video or something.
Yeah.
If you notice, even though he wears a shirt with the collar up high, he has one of those vagina necks where his neck makes the shape of an unsightly vagina.
Well, what's weird is that he wears and I feel like I only see this like with like weird religious cults, is he has a button-up shirt with no collar. You know what I mean? Like that kind of, I don't know what, it's like a collarless button-up.
Right.
But I feel like every time I see some religious cult, that's like part of their thing.
It's an alien thing, I'm sure. Didn't he say there was a spaceship hiding behind the comet?
Yes. Yeah. So we'll get into that. So basically in the 70s, Marshall Applewhite was a music teacher in Texas.
First red flag.
He was a married man. I don't believe he had any children or that I could find.
He wasn't divorced?
Well, he's married in this part of the story.
Oops.
He was fired as a teacher after it was alleged that he had sex with a male student.
What the fuck? Do his people know that? Or his previous?
Yeah, it's well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe not back then. It's pretty common knowledge now.
So let's get a running list, everybody. Write down religious kooks, button-up shirts, no collars, sex with kids.
Well, I didn't see that it was anything with kids. I don't know if he was teaching at a college or just that it was the 70s and
accused of it.
Teenagers weren't referred to as kids. I don't know, but I didn't see any
accused of it.
I couldn't see anything that said like child sex or anything like that. It was that he had sex with a male student.
We're adding it to the list. Oh, and they're in the closet and they're gay.
Yeah, so that's gonna be like, you know, the sad part of this is they said it on last podcast on the left that in the 70s it was safer to believe that you were an alien than to come out as gay.
It's true.
Yeah, so we still like to believe we're a little bit alien.
You can say you were abducted by aliens and got anally probed, but you can't say that you let like some guy do it.
No more South Park references.
Then you're just weird. I'm being serious. Like you'd probably be. People just think you're nuts and dismiss you and not worry about you.
Well, here's the thing. So after that happens, he does suffer a heart attack, kind of like a near death experience, right? And shortly after that, he checks himself into a psychiatric hospital.
Oh no.
He is really struggling with who he is as a person.
This is where he gets all his people, isn't it?
No.
It's a good place to recruit.
Kind of. It gets stranger.
Wow.
So from what I could read and kind of understand and read between the lines is that Marshall Applewhite was very conflicted from what I believe was the fact that he was gay. He checked himself in, saying that he, didn't understand himself. He didn't understand certain parts of himself. He was just really struggling internally with who he was as a person. And I think that probably would, go back to kind of internalized homophobia. And trying, that maybe that's just my perspective on it. I mean, it's not, there are a lot of other people that share that same belief.
Like the History Channel, you've just completely made up what you think is going on based off nothing. This is possibly, we don't know.
Educated guessing.
Educated. What's your doctorate in?
So his psychiatric nurse is a woman named Bonnie Nettles.
Oh, she's a nurse?
Yes, at the psychiatric hospital. She meets Marshall Applewhite and they really have this connection. Not as lovers or anything like that, but what they believe is this very spiritual connection that's on another level. And Bonnie starts to tell him, it's not that you're gay. It's not that you're confused. It's not that you don't know who you are. It's that you are an alien. We all are. And they start to kind of feed off of each other. And earlier when I was trying to figure out how to pronounce this French word, it's because both Applewhite and Nettles are believed to have both suffered from foie à deux.
Fondue.
Foie à deux. It's a French word, but there's a psychiatrist that suggested that the two suffered from this. What
is it?
I'm literally in the middle of telling you.
I'm sorry.
Suffered from this psychiatric syndrome in which one partner draws the other into a shared system of delusion. So they're both having the same delusion and they're both feeding off of each other.
Like when my girlfriend convinces me I'm good in bed, I'm funny.
Foie à deux.
That's foie à deux. I'm just going to tell her the next time she says, babe, you're so great.
You have to do it in a real French accent, which
foie à deux.
Yeah, so they basically have they're kind of just creating these stories in each other's heads, and they both love and trust each other on such a platonic level that there's no talking each other down. It's the same shared delusion that just progresses and progresses.
Oh, they perpetuate each other's delusions.
Yes, very much so.
Very good. Because he's kooky. I've watched his videos for his people, or the new people.
Yeah.
When there were new people.
Yeah. So they basically come up with this idea, okay, that Applewhite himself, well, they start to change their names. First, they call each other Bo and Peep. And then they end up changing their names to Doe. Applewhite, he is referred to as Doe, and Bonnie Nettles, she is referred to as T-I. So D-O and T-I. And
wait a minute. In his introductory video, he says Tito, but he said T is his father, God.
Yes.
So Bonnie's God? Because
Yeah.
I thought he was literally referring to his biological father. He wasn't.
No, he's not.
Oh, Bonnie's God.
It gets we'll get to that.
Because he did say that father went left when he must have meant when Bonnie passed away.
Yes, yeah, you're giving away a lot of my story.
She went back to, oh, good. Now you know how I feel. Wonderful. Let me bring up something completely random about a guy and his t-shirt that I saw. Jesus Christ.
So Doe, Marshall Applewhite, they believe that he is the second coming of Christ, that God was an alien, and that they were living in the end times. They read the Bible a lot, especially Revelation chapter 11 in the New Testament, which is a section about these two witnesses of a prophecy, and at the end of their prophecy they had to battle demons, and so they kind of start to see themselves as these prophets in the book of Revelations, and anything that doesn't fit, much like religion, they just kind of make it fit. Like aliens.
Yeah. I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.
It was aliens.
Like when he says that when the Bible refers to chariots on fire, that's a spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. It's just a spaceship.
They were honestly the first ancient aliens. Like, if someone would have put a TV crew on this, the History Channel could have boosted their ratings in the 90s. Because they were very much the first, ancient aliens. That is what they believed, that everything that was around us had been built by aliens, that we were put here by aliens, like I was explaining to you earlier, almost like plants, like how you put a seed into the ground and it comes to fruition, and then you do with it what you will. You pick the fruit, or you cut the flowers, or whatever. So basically humans were put on earth as just vessels, just our bodies, and we have consciousness and things like that. But when aliens needed, they could come to Earth and take over that vessel.
Right, because we have so many things that they could use, like, sex booths where you go and pay a couple bucks and a curtain pulls up and you jerk it.
Where
next to another guy. New York, Howard Stern, Sal. That's how I know about it. God, I'm glad I explained how I knew, because if I just left that there, people like, Jesus.
Yeah. So that was that was the first
what can we create that they could possibly want?
Just us. They don't necessarily want anything we created. They just needed a harvesting station for bodies.
Our diseased blood full of fried grease.
Easily.
So what do they need from it? Just make it. We're making it.
They did make it. They made us. We are literally creations of them in this storyline.
But we can make it without all the complicated.
Why are you arguing with lunacy?
My made up shit is right, and your made up shit is wrong. Tale as old as time.
This is in the 1970s where they kind of start their first
do a lot of drugs,
deep dive into this new religious cult. And so when they first started it, it was called HIM, HIM, which stood for Human Individual Metamorphosis.
Yeah, he does refer to people as individuals a lot.
Yes. It was a doomsday cult, end of times type cult.
But he specified that he wasn't saying the world was coming to an end. It was going to be, quote unquote, recycled.
Yes.
Yeah.
So most of the people that started in this first HIM cult of his would then eventually become members of his Total Overcomers Anonymous, which would then later be renamed as Heaven's Gate.
That's so weird, because I remember in high school, you and your little goth friends had a similar cult, because you guys all wear the HIM stuff.
That stood for His Infernal Majesty, and that is still a great band.
What's it stand for?
His Infernal Majesty.
Fascinating. You guys were like a little cult.
That's still a great band, and I think they just did their last tour like 2 years ago.
Oh,
I never got to see them live.
Yeah.
Well,
we got to see OTEP, and they had a dead pig on a stick, so that's enough for me.
Love them.
Love them.
Love them. So that was Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles in the 1970s. By 1985, Bonnie Nettles is diagnosed with cancer, and I'm sorry I don't have the exact type.
God got cancer and couldn't fix it?
Well, she's not God yet.
When is she God? When she dies?
Yes.
Give me a break.
Dun, dun, dun.
When she dies.
She has cancer and she decides to forego any treatment for it, believing that this is the, like, for lack of a better word, aliens getting ready to take her ethereal body and not her flesh body with them.
What? It's even hard to explain. It's such bullshit.
It really is. I feel like I've listened and read to so much of this, and I still can't like fully explain it. I feel like maybe you do have to have a certain spark of
insanity.
Yeah, like a little bit of madness in your brain, and mine's very well medicated. So
that's why
I can't really connect with it. In this ethereal level.
The government got you.
But after Bonnie dies, this is obviously like a huge blow for Marshall Applewhite, for Doe. And things start to really ramp up for him. So he ends up believing and telling his followers that yes, Bonnie is God. That God, was that. How do I explain this? That God and Jesus weren't necessarily God and Jesus, right? You saw them as God and Jesus because those were the earthly bodies that they were taking at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But when they died or left to heaven, their souls, their actual beings, no longer needed those bodies. They can inhabit whatever bodies they want, right? So God and Jesus aren't gone. They have been taking other forms of life for what I believe he said was 2,000 years. So he believes that.
And the other billions of years, just fuck it. I'm asleep.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. How come it's not weird to say you talk to Jesus, but it's weird to say you are Jesus?
I think all of it's very strange.
That's true. How come most people who are religious don't think it's weird that they talk to Jesus and their friends talk to Jesus, but when someone says they're Jesus, it's like, they're crazy.
You know what's really interesting is I was just listening to, it wasn't a TED Talk, but it was like do you know who Penn Jillette is? Penn and Teller. Okay, I love them. So Penn was doing when he released a book like many years ago, and it was like a pretty atheist book. It was about there not being a God. He went on like a speaking tour, right? And people were asking him, I forget what the actual question was, but he ended up giving this really cool answer. And I'll see if I can find the link because it really made me think. Where he was saying when somebody commits a murder or an act of violence or something like that, and they do it in the name of God, which is what a lot of things have been done in, right? A lot of these, horrendous acts of violence, murder, rape, genocide have been done in the name of God, okay?
Their God.
You put somebody up on the stand and they say, God made me do this. that is grounds for an insanity plea. But what he was saying is, why wouldn't true Christians, true believers of Christ, believe that person, that God made them do that? If you look through the Bible, God has called upon people to do some pretty, nowadays, horrendous things.
Well, they would say that that's the Old Testament when he did that, and then the New Testament.
There are still believers of the Old Testament. You know what I mean? It was just an interesting, I mean,
right, but
it much more eloquently than me.
That would be Jewish people that only believe the Old Testament. And the New Testament says Christ came and it counted for all of our sins or something and created a new covenant. So new rules. Start over.
Oh, okay.
And he doesn't, that isn't biblical because they incorporate the whole Bible, Old and New Testament.
I am going to find that clip just to link it to at least you, because it really was like, I am obviously not explaining it the way
the right person to send that to is my brother, Danny, on his little, through the Soul podcast, the biblical guy, because he's just biblically based. You'll get an answer, but I'll tell you what, he's the minority in his religion. They don't really have an account because they don't really know their Bible. They just kind of go with the flow and like the way it makes them feel and cherry pick and etc. But here's what I've learned from Danny being biblically correct is that this Bible is so much in it that it's created an infinite loophole for them in almost every aspect.
Yeah.
And most of it comes when you if you get through the nitty gritty of it, then it goes down to faith.
Right.
You get to things where you can't argue anymore, like blind faith. And, and then you have to assume everything and it's true too, to accept his answers. And then, it's just a nonstop fucking loop of bullshit. I'm over it.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I took us off track, but I just remembered that.
But what about other religions too? What if they're Muslim or whatever? Do you know what I mean? It's a good question for all of them, not just Christians. If they say,
yeah, no, absolutely. I'm not sure that he said, if you were a true Christian, but I think he was saying if you're like a true believer in God, you wouldn't immediately assume that whoever says they're talking to God, why is that automatically looked at as insanity?
Right.
When you yourself, you pray, you believe you're speaking to God, but when someone else does it and they've committed a violent act, how come that cannot be from God?
Right.
You know what I mean? It was just it really has nothing to do with this. So Bonnie Nettles dies in 1985, fucks Marshall Applewhite up, but he's going to keep going. He has this new theory that Bonnie is God and she's watching over them it gets really strange.
It's already there. Well, go ahead.
So you talked about how the Earth, how they said the Earth was being recycled. So it's still technically a doomsday cult, but they don't actually believe that the Earth is going to be destroyed. What they believe is that a spaceship is going to come. It is going to pick up some of the ethereal bodies and either
replant mean?
Maybe I don't know if I'm using it correctly. Your spirit,
like your consciousness almost?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they don't ever use the word consciousness,
like the voice in your head.
Yeah, like your inner being rather than your outer being.
Oh, it's ethereal with an E, extremely delicate and light in a way that seems too perfect for this world. Yeah, me. Thank you.
All babies in the world.
Yeah.
My toddler punched me in the face today, so not him.
He punched you in the face.
Oh.
Fist?
Oh, yeah.
Why do you do that?
In the middle of a school function. The boys' science fair thing tonight. Oh, I was so mad he had a timeout in the hallway.
Was he just being a brat or what? Or playing?
He was mad because there was a dinosaur dig and he needed to give other kids a turn. And so I picked him up and then he wanted me to put him down and he just got super frustrated and he doesn't really know how to explain his frustration. So he thought just punching me in the mouth would help him out.
I know how he feels.
But it got him a timeout instead. So
did you have the surprised Pikachu face? when he punched you.
It's like so embarrassing too, because you're in like a whole auditorium full of people just staring at you, and I just want to be like, suck it. You guys have all been hit by your kids. Relax.
They were looking at you funny?
I probably not, but that's immediately what it feels like. You know, like it just sucks. It's embarrassing.
I think it feels like everyone's like thinking, get your kid under control. Like, he's 2.
Well, especially around here, it's like, oh, you better spank that kid. And I'm like, no, you can go have a 2-minute timeout. He'll be fine.
I know how to teach my kid not to be violent. I'm going to use violence.
Yeah.
Wow.
Listen to me. Quit hitting. Just smacking back and forth.
You're smacking him over and over again. Quit hitting is bad.
People.
Yeah. Jesus.
So what
hit the other people?
What Heaven's Gate ended up doing to try and get more followers is, sadly, and what we've seen in a lot of our research for cults, is that they would target poor neighborhoods.
I have an interesting fact.
Yeah.
The original cast member who played Lieutenant Uhura in Star Trek, her brother was in this kooky cult.
Yeah, and he actually died by suicide.
He's not poor.
No, but he was a very true believer, obviously.
He's just kooky.
No, just a little off.
That's what I feel like. I feel like they're all...
I'm saying how they tried to recruit people.
I think it's a mixture of they have their own delusions, coupled with the existential crisis of, why am I here? I must be worth something. I must be a part of a bigger purpose. For the life of me, I don't understand why we need to feel that way.
I know.
But, you know what I mean?
And also, I would rather not admit that I'm gay.
And then a dash of aliens are cool. So you throw all that together and you've got Heaven's Gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they would go into these neighborhoods to talk about how the earth was going to be, quote, recycled, and how the only way to save themselves was to give up all their attachments, their gender, their relationships, their family, sex. Those were all things that were required of cult members to give up.
And he actually used the Christian Bible to justify that. He would quote Christ saying, I'm not of this world. If you love this world, then you'll die with it. Do you see what I mean? Because he's not of this world. So if you love anything in this world, so the guy uses that scripture to justify that. It doesn't say go get married and have babies. Don't have more things that you love of this world, that you should literally be an individual and love nothing of this world and want nothing to do with it.
Well, and he tried to make a very not alien in like little green men, but alien to the rest of the world kind of aesthetic, right? So everybody dressed in like tracksuits, or sweatpants and a sweatshirt, because it was the least gender conforming thing, right? It kind of, if you wear baggy clothes, they
were very unisex, and they
very unisex.
Their haircuts even.
Yes, shaved heads, no facial hair. 7 of the members, including Marshall Applewhite, actually underwent voluntary castration.
That's right.
Where they had their testicles removed in order to control sexual urges.
Okay.
Because it was a very strict rule of absolutely no sex, no human connections. So no the boyfriend or girlfriend or mom or dad or anything like that. They would refer to each other as brothers or sisters or crew members, which, brother and sister, those are pretty gender conforming. So I'm not entirely sure, why they chose
out a ship.
Yeah.
When he called he called it a level above human. That's what alien is to them, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And heaven is a place with spaceships in it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a level above human.
Right. So in the Rolling Stones article, they actually, I'll quote them a little bit. Heaven's Gate has the distinction of being the first well-known American cult of the internet era. Using the new technology to share their beliefs with a wider audience and also to make a living, because they derived a large portion of their income. See, they all ended up moving into like this $7,000 a month mansion that they all lived in together. And they got their income from designing web pages. Because by the 1990s, they were basically reclusive. They used to go out and try and like, what's the word, prophesize to people and recruit and all of that. But by the 1990s, they were doing all of this on their website, Higher Source.
.com.
Which is heavensgate.com. But the
internet brings out all the kooks.
Yeah, and why I included this Rolling Stones article is because I had not actually thought of that. You know, like we did Jonestown and stuff, and that was obviously insanity. But this was, I guess I just never thought of that. It was the first cult to use internet.
Yeah, everybody's running around now going, where do all these crazy people come from? They've always been here. It's just the internet has brought them together, and now they're not just alone and shunned. They're getting together and coming up with their crazy bullshit where they think their race is superior, or they think that conspiracies are real, or that gay frogs are a bad thing, or whatever they
frogs are gay.
Right. Illuminati and all kinds of whacked out shit. The moon landing was faked. The Titanic wasn't real. Holocaust wasn't real. 9/11 was an inside job. Just a bunch of nutty people getting together on the internet. There's the answer, everybody.
Yeah.
The internet. Shut it down.
We don't need it.
That's enough.
So along with they had a very strict regimen. They were doing what's called the master cleanse. Have you ever heard of this? It makes the rounds like on the internet and diet fads like every once in a while, probably once a year. Master cleanse. So it
sounds like it's a BDSM diet.
No, it was like this book from I think like the 40s or something.
Oh my.
But basically it's this regimen where you make this. It's water and lemon juice, cayenne pepper, and maple syrup. And you're supposed to do like a 3 to 6 day cleanse where all you do is drink this mixture. Gate did it for 3 months.
Did they die?
No. No, that's not how they died.
They all died.
Because what Applewhite or Doe was telling them, and what they all believed is that this was a true cleanse of their soul and their body. So they were doing things like that. The web design was bringing in a lot of money. I mean, if you look at it now, it seems pretty ridiculous, but back then, the internet was pretty new, and their web design, a lot of them were programmers, and so it was up to par then.
There was a need for it because it was growing quick and no one knew what to do with it.
Yeah, in fact, all of their reviews for people they had done work for were glowing. They had great reviews. So
they're a great company.
They did a good job.
Yeah.
Applewhite started, like I said, that the no.
Hey, do you a guy who can build my website? Yeah, and this guy, and you use him, and and it's really good, and it's really affordable, and blah blah. That sounds great. Yeah, it's just is this one thing. What? Well, it's not a big deal. I mean, his websites are good. Okay, what is it? He thinks he's the second coming of Jesus, and he's an alien. And there's a spaceship coming. Blah blah blah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's good. It's affordable. Don't worry about it. What the fuck? What? Yeah, he could be
right.
He's good at websites.
Again, from the Rolling Stones article, which they're in the Rolling Stones article, they're actually quoting a BBC article. I just realized. So, little
exception of articles.
Members were originally told that they would be able to exit their quote containers, their bodies, without resorting to suicide. They told LA Weekly in 1994 that they hoped to be beamed up into space, taking their bodies with them into the, quote, next level.
You really can't do it without suicide, Sarah. It's called LSD.
Oh, right? If only someone would have just slipped them some LSD, they would have had the best time.
The mushrooms. Go ahead.
As members recalled their version of the afterlife, as members called their version of the afterlife, next level is what dying was going to the next level. But in the mid 1980s, when Nettles died of cancer, which is in 1985, Applewhite amended his teachings to say that they would be given a new body in the next level. So their bodies wouldn't necessarily go with them. And the group ended up having to acknowledge that death might be necessary if they were to be picked up by an alien spacecraft.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. Like, you try to, like, because I love alien stuff, so a lot of this was like really fun to start like researching and looking at, and at first I was like, oh man, this is a pretty, like, after doing fucking Jonestown, this is a pretty like easygoing thing. Everyone is just seems so happy.
Nope.
But
they're crazy.
That's not fair. Just to blanket say they're crazy. They're delusional.
There's something.
They're suffering from delusion.
Are they suffering?
Yeah, I mean, they all died by suicide. They're suffering something here.
They wouldn't tell you that it was suicide. They would say,
well, actually, how they explained it on their website was that they're very much against suicide, and that what they did was not suicide.
Because they were ready.
Staying on Earth would be suicide. Right? Because Earth will eventually implode. And the aliens will not need it anymore.
You know, I've met a lot of people who claim to be Jesus. This is true. I'm not making this up.
Mm-hmm.
And in every case, it turned out that they were schizophrenics off their medication. And there was a guy who came in off his meds, got arrested because he's getting into shenanigans. He's Jesus. Every time I'd walk by his cell, he's alone in his cell having a full-on conversation with, like, God, angels, regular ass conversations too about weird shit. And then he would get scared, because then when he'd get scared, then he'd be talking to the devil or something. Then he'd finally get on his meds, and it'd take a while to kick in. And I see the same kooky guy. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, here's the kook. And he's like, hey, good morning. I'm like, good morning, weirdo. You're okay now? Yeah, I'm just schizophrenic. But he's totally normal after the fact. He knew that it was all bullshit. But he just knows that when he's off his meds, it's a deep dive into it. He believes it.
Right.
I mean, these guys will do. I had a guy, and this is common too. Don't look it up. God, the pictures are horrendous. But they'll tell him to do like weird shit. And one guy thought for some reason his penis was like possessed by the devil. Took one of the golf pencils that we give them. And tried to castrate himself, like take it off. And he almost did. It was lucky we stopped him. But he did. He almost did. He almost took the little thing off. It was hanging by a thread. It saved it. But I mean, that's how kooky they are. They'll do.
Well, I mean, I don't know that anyone or everyone, let alone anyone in this group, was suffering from schizophrenia. That's not mentioned at all in any of the research that I've done.
I wonder what it is.
I don't know. I really do believe in shared delusion.
Yeah, I think it's just an
group psychosis. It's a group thing.
Yeah, overzealous religious thing. I mean, it's no different than the religious people who kamikaze, go kill themselves and take people's lives right before they go out in a big bang. They're more violent.
Right.
But the weird thing about these people is you watch the videos, the leader's relatively articulate.
Yeah.
Seems genuine.
Yeah.
He says a lot of things like,
I mean, the one of the original leaders was a psychiatric nurse.
And he says something like, this is what he does, that I thought this is probably how he got people that were borderline delusional and gullible and really wanted something more, right? Because but they had a level of intelligence. He would say his craziness in the video in the introduction. He'd say something crazy, and then he'd say, I know that sounds crazy.
Yeah. And
then you just kind of let your guard down a little bit and,
Yeah.
and say, oh, well, the guy knows what he's saying. Do you know what I mean?
Because he keeps giving you an out. He keeps giving you something to say, okay, this guy is self-reflective, self-aware. He knows that what he's about to tell me is going to sound a little bit off. And so you're not so taken aback by it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's how I should pick up chicks. Listen.
I was actually I just clicked on Heaven's Gate website. And right on the front page, they have a link that you can click that says our position against suicide. And it's like a 5-paragraph thing. But basically the ending paragraph sums it up. The true meaning of, quote, suicide is to turn against the next level when it is being offered. So they do not believe, like I was saying, they do not believe that how we see death by suicide, to them, you and I are committing suicide right now by just being here, which is really the opposite of suicide.
By living.
Yeah, like it's, yeah.
I'm going to tell you what suicide is. What is it?
Like I said in the beginning, when things don't fit, they just really make it fit.
And if you say it with enough confidence, there's idiots who will believe you.
Yeah, and like you were saying with his videos, I mean, you can go onto YouTube and type in Heaven's Gate or Marshall Applewhite. Initiation video is the big one. And that's when he's talking and explaining basically what his group is and why they're doing this. And then some of the harder videos for me were the farewell videos.
Ugh.
So every member that died by suicide did a farewell video. And all of them, except for one, are very positive and a bit uplifting.
There's always that one negative Debbie Downer.
Well, it's just a woman that's crying the whole time.
Oh my God.
It's really hard to watch.
What's she crying about?
I think I mean this was not forced suicide. In Jonestown, we saw people with guns to their heads, and it was either you drink the Kool-Aid or you get shot in the head. That's a forced suicide. That's murder. These suicides were not forced. Okay. But you can tell that this person was obviously conflicted while doing this farewell tape.
Really?
And those are on YouTube as well.
Wonderful. You have the best video. Wow.
I'm not going to play any of it or link any of it. I do think the initiation video is really interesting to watch. I think the dude only blinks like 4 times in the course of like a 2-hour video. He's pretty intense. So the night that everything goes down.
Go ahead.
Which I should just, I didn't even explain what Hail Bop was. Oh my gosh. Hail Bop. You were gone. I didn't even explain what Hail Bop was.
It's a meteor. I know what it is.
It was a comet, right?
Comet, and the ship's behind it. Hail Bop also is going to be the name of my firstborn. Thank you.
Hail Bop. So Hail Bop was this comet that was discovered that was supposed to be passing by Earth. Right. And so it was like one of the, it was a big deal. It was on the news and it was getting a lot of press coverage and things like that it was coming, and they knew what day it was coming, and it was really exciting. Well, Marshall Applewhite sees this and becomes convinced that this is a sign from Bonnie, or how she was then known, T. What he then tells his followers, and they agree, is that this comet is coming, and in the tail of this comet is going to be T's spaceship to pick them up.
Okay. And I'm sure he just got over it.
It's being disguised by Hail Bop.
Okay? He probably just got bored. Needed a way out. He's like, this is so boring. My vagina neck and genderless. I'm castrated. I've made poor choices.
There's nothing else to do.
There's nothing. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So it was coming. March 26th, 1997 is when this started. On March 25th, the day before, all the members went out to Marie Callender's, which was a restaurant that they would sometimes frequent for gatherings.
They all ordered the same meal.
They all ordered the exact same meal, which was a glass of iced tea, a turkey pot pie, and a slice of cheesecake with blueberries.
Right.
And a salad.
They're watching our video.
I read an excerpt from the waiter that had waited on them that night, and I have it somewhere in my notes, but I can't find it. Basically what the waiter said was that they all seemed in a great mood. They were laughing and conversing and seemed to be having a good time, very celebratory. The next day is when the suicides would begin.
They were happy because they weren't drinking their cocktail of jizz and lemon juice.
Well, they were obviously, I think what he was trying to convey is that they were obviously celebrating something.
Here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone put the blueberry cheesecake in their hoo-ha or butthole to save it for later so no one else would eat it?
They didn't. That's a callback. You have to listen to Cults Part 1.
I have a question. Did anybody put the food in their privates for later so that no one else would eat it?
I'll never be able to eat a chicken wing again, ever.
Yeah, that's what everyone keeps telling me.
Yeah, never. Never look at it the same.
Listen, it might taste good. You don't know. What?
So the next day is the 26th. What a lot of people don't know is that these suicides actually happened over the span of 3 days. So they were scheduled suicides because one group of people would help the first group of people. And I'll give it to them that, I mean, those last people had 3 days to pull out, and they stuck with it. They all ate pudding or applesauce that was laced with phenobarbital. Then they drank vodka. And then they fastened plastic bags on each other's heads. Fastened? I mean, you can tell I didn't write that.
Oh, I thought that was another one of your words, like drape.
Fastened, like tied.
I'm aware of what you mean. I just thought you were being overly fancy.
No, it was like obviously a copy and paste.
You're like Stephen King over here. Jesus Christ. They fastened
their plastic bags to their heads.
I know, and it's such a morbid topic.
Uh-huh.
Give it to us straight, would you?
After they died, the bags were removed, and then their bodies were draped with a blanket.
There it is, you guys. Draped. Stephen King's here. Fucking
another callback.
Yeah, no shit.
A lot when the pictures came out, people automatically went to the fact that they were all wearing the same thing, and they were all wearing these identical Nike sneakers, and everybody thought, like, holy shit, like, what does that mean? Like, what is the significance of the Nike sneaker? And
more kooks.
And really all it was is that they were able to get just a shit ton of them on sale, and so they just bought a ton of them.
You mean there's a logical explanation for that conspiracy theory?
Yeah, there was nothing behind it being Nike or anything like that. They literally just happened to find a big sale with everybody's size and ordered them. That's all it was.
Wonderful.
They all had these really campy, fun patches that said Heaven's Gate Away Team, which is a homage to Star Trek.
Star Trek, yeah.
Which seems like such a lighthearted, like.
Well, I'm sure that brother came up with it. The brother of the sister.
Yeah, I mean, I know that the whole cult was obviously very influenced by sci-fi. They loved things like Star Trek and Outer Limits and things like that. But I just find it a little like strange. But then again, that was their mindset. Like this was a celebratory thing. they were going to the next level. There was no, I mean, aside from that one video that I talked about earlier, there was no real remorse or regret or feeling of doom. It was, this is just what we're supposed to do, you know, and it's going to be so much better.
Well, I mean, then the ignorance is bliss, and so is delusion, I guess, if you're totally in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No
So
thanks.
these suicides happen over the course of 3 days. It isn't till 6 days later that the bodies are discovered, which is pretty terrible because they were in a deep state of decomposition at that point.
Right.
After the news broke about what had happened, one of the discoverers of Hale Bopp, once they kind of unraveled, like, what the fuck is this? You know, why did this happen? What were they trying to accomplish? That all hit the press. And one of the discoverers of Hale Bopp, his name is Alan Hale, he gave a press conference.
Oh, God.
And he said of the comet that Heaven's Gate had believed to be harboring a spaceship, quote, "Tonight, forget about the world for a minute. Go outside, look up in the northwest, and take a look at this comet. It's a beautiful object. It's lovely. It's one of the most magnificent celestial objects you will ever see. But for all its beauty, its magnificence, its splendor, all it is a dirty snowball that's orbiting the sun. Nothing more."
Yeah. Calm down, everybody.
Which I thought was, I don't know, kind of cool. Like, I guess that's how I feel about most of the world. That's, you know, like,
that's how I felt when 9/11 happened and TRL had Ja Rule come on to talk about it. It was really cool what he said. I felt good.
That was rude.
That was rude. Well, come on.
I think it's neat. Like, he was the fucking one of the people that discovered that the comet was coming. And then to hear this huge tragedy because of something you've discovered, and to be able to do this press conference and say, like,
is it a tragedy? I mean, I guess, yeah, because there's
of course it is.
Cared about them and stuff, and they're sad that they're gone. It's a tragedy for everybody left that cared about them.
I mean, that's what death is. It's not a tragedy for them.
Yeah,
they're dead. It's a tragedy for anyone else that ever loved or cared about them. I mean, some of these people that went, were part of Heaven's Gate, were parents. They left their children. They left their loved ones. They left, you know, like, and so we can.
Then mental illness is a tragedy, not a fucking comet.
Yeah. Well, no, I wasn't saying the comet was a tragedy. And neither was he. He was Alan Hale.
Oh.
What he was saying was literally, you guys, this is, I mean, it's beautiful, it's magnificent, it's amazing. We've never seen anything like this before. You've probably never seen something like this. But when you boil it down, it's just a snowball hurling through space. There's really no significance to it. It's just beautiful.
That's right.
That's all. Which
is how it goes for everything, everybody.
Yeah.
Calm down.
On the Heaven's Gate website, this is how I'll end it. They have a lot of, like I said, there's a ton of video and everything you can find of Marshall Applewhite online, and a lot of his writings, and heavensgate.com has all of his writings. And one is called Doe's Intro, Purpose and Belief. And it's titled, What Our Purpose Is, The Simple Bottom Line. And this is just an excerpt from it. It's right at the end. I mean, it's a huge, like, rambling mess if you want to read through all of it.
No.
But the last little bit is this.
Thank you.
And this was obviously before they died. But kind of explaining a little bit of why they thought they were doing this and what they thought they were going to accomplish. The dilemma is, we are here, and most humans are thoroughly hooked to humanity. However, the same grace that was available at the end of the representative's mission 2,000 years ago, which is
Jesus.
Jesus, it's available now with our presence. If you quickly choose to take these steps towards separating from the world and look to us for help, you will see our Father's kingdom. It is clear to all of us that the Antichrist, those propagators of sustained faithfulness to mammalian humanism, we are and will be seen as their Antichrist. This is certainly to be expected, and it will not delay our return to our Father's kingdom. It might even accelerate that return. We will, between now and our departure, do everything we can for those who want to go with us, but we cannot allow them to interfere with or delay our return to him. Signed, the present representative, Doe. And that's how I will end Heaven's Gate.
Fascinating. There's so many kooks.
I found this one really I don't know, there's a lot of avenues you can take it. Like I said, the website's still going. They know that there's at least 2 active members that run this website and do believe that they will be
scooped.
Yeah, they will be leaving.
All right.
I don't know if they end up then leaving behind other people. I'm not really sure how it works.
And how many were there?
Come on.
Like 17?
No, it was 39 members of the group died.
I was going to say 39. So out of billions of people, 39 are special. Come on.
It was pretty inclusive. They wanted everyone. You know what I mean? They didn't just think that they were special. They thought that no one else was realizing how special they themselves were.
I'm just saying they must have done a lot of mental gymnastics to
absolutely.
It, or they're just kooky, like I said. I don't know. So I didn't derail you.
Huh?
I didn't derail you.
No. I mean, I didn't have like my outline or anything like that, but I think it went pretty well. I don't know what we're doing next episode. Maybe a good old fashioned just straight hand out job. Murder.
Oh, good old fashioned hand job is where I thought that was going. We just give someone a hand job live on the air.
Hey, there's a 100th episode idea.
You want to hear about the time I celebrated my 21st birthday and got pissed drunk? Literally. You want to hear about it? It's good.
Sure.
Yeah, just say yes. God damn.
I just don't know how you got there.
Because I didn't get to derail you and I wanted to tell the story somehow and I never got to it because you were like, oh,
okay.
Sad. No. I didn't want to tell you the story.
I wasn't sad during it. It was just like, I just think the whole thing, I didn't realize how fucking fascinating it was. I'm just kind of fascinated by it. And
you want a funny story or not?
I might be joining a cult soon. I
might
be the 3rd member of Heaven's Gate.
There's going to be 3
not
members.
Kidding. It's
running
really
there.
Interesting.
Will you stop not kidding?
Let me hear your funny story.
You are kidding.
If there wasn't so much Jesus and Christ talk, I could maybe be on board.
With what?
I dig the alien stuff.
Like you're going to die and go be in an alien land?
I buy that more than anything.
You're going to die eventually. Can't you just wait till you die normally? You have to.
Yeah, for sure.
I see you enjoying that earthly Diet Coke.
And this earthly jewel.
Yeah, exactly.
Nation.
You better knock it off. Better cut your hair.
I couldn't shave my head. That's where I wouldn't be able to get into this.
That's where I draw the line.
I just got these nice bangs.
Yeah, I draw the line. Thank you. I need my press-ons.
All right, let's hear about 100 years ago when you turned 21.
Okay. Thank you. So we go to the gay bar because that's what gays do. I don't know if you know this.
You got to talk into the microphone. Perfect.
You're so annoying. So go to the gay bar and I'm just kidding. So we go to the gay. It's a lesbian bar, actually. Mm-hmm. It's had a million names. At the time, I think it was Misty's. I don't know. My friend takes me out because she likes to drink. I don't necessarily, but anyways, when I'm drunk, I do.
When I'm drunk, I like to drink.
I love it. I'm having a good time. But I'm, I recently turned 21. I already drank at that point, but not like shit faced or anything extravagant. So, and we're supposed to be celebrating it, right?
Right.
So I make the first mistake, which is mixing my drinks because they wanted me to try every drink there is.
Yeah.
And at one point I realized I'm pretty plastered and it's hitting me.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's only going to get worse. And I was right. It was only going to get worse.
Yep.
I wasn't the most drunk.
I know. Wouldn't it be great if every time you got that feeling, you'd be like, okay, I'm going home.
I was done.
But somehow you just keep
my
going.
friend, my friend who has, the liver of a god,
right?
Is like, one more, you have to try one more drink, and I'm like, I have one more. Pink pussy is the name of the drink, and I'm a lesbian, and I'm drunk, and I'm like, all right,
21, so that's still funny.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, all right, if that's the name of it, I'll get it. And it was pink. It wasn't pussy.
They're good. Yeah,
drink. So I down this drink.
Tastes like chicken wings, actually.
Oh, I get it. You're so gross. It does not. You're thinking of rotisserie pussy. So I down
barbecue pussy.
That's right. So I down buffalo pussy. Lemon pepper pussy. We should open a fucking
original pussy.
Sarah, we should open a Buffalo Wild Wings, like Sarah Wild Wings. And they're like, what is your secret ingredient? Like, we don't tell anyone, but it's you marinating it back there.
Don't open that door in the back. It's just me on a throne, like a Game of Thrones fucking chair.
Yeah, but it has
shoving chicken wings up myself.
Stirrups.
Pulling them out on strings, flinging them.
No, one of those fucking belts. And you're just scooting them out as they push it in.
Oh god, on a little conveyor belt that just runs.
That's it.
My legs.
Conveyor belt, in and out, in and out, in and out.
I told you those Kegel exercises were gonna come in handy.
Oh god,
this is getting really gross.
You would quit when we introduced the ghost pepper one. I'm not putting that there.
I'm just screaming.
Oh god, who's screaming back there? Our chef. Shut up.
Fire breathing vagina.
Yeah. I like the Game of Thrones throne though. Okay. So I down this drink and now I've officially sealed my doom. And I'm trashed. Yeah. So she says what you do when you're that trashed is you go to Denny's, and it's the gay Denny's, so it's Jenny's, and you eat and drink coffee or something. I don't know. I mean, I'm fucking pissed drunk though. So we go over to Jenny's, and I'm crying because I'm so drunk, but like a drunk crying, like, you let me drink too much. Like literally just like that. Right?
Like Max.
Yes. Like a 2-year-old kid faking crying. And she's like, okay, you get your shit together in the car for a minute. I'm going to go get us a booth and you'll go use the restroom, right? And I'm like, okay. So she goes in. It's like 2 a.m, Friday or Saturday night. And the walkway into the front door is a ramp for wheelchair access. So I walk up the ramp, and then now I'm in front of the double doors.
Your legs?
Yes, with my legs. Thank you.
Okay.
I just wanted to explain there weren't steps, okay? It's just a ramp.
Okay.
Fuck off. I draped up the stairs. So anyways, is that better? So the double doors are right in front of me, and there's the iron bars around the walkway. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I can lean over the bars, and I'm a few feet off the ground because it's raised the ground. Okay. And I'm crying walking up there still. And I'm stumbling up there. It's a hot mess. Like I need these guardrails. Like you would think I'm like using guardrails on like the side of a mountain, the way I'm climbing up it. And really I'm just going in a straight line like a jackass. So I hurl over I bend over the rail to start vomiting, and it makes me cry worse, and I'm just like violently vomiting, and it's just like the exorcist pouring out of me, but the pile's already created of liquid. The more I vomit, you can hear it splashing on it, and I'm just hurling vomit, and it's making me cry worse, like but like in between and then back to puking, right? And I'm puking so hard. I'm wearing the typical lesbian outfit.
What? Cargos and a polo shirt?
Yeah, cargos, cargo shorts, a polo, and flip flops.
And a chain.
Fuck off from my wallet with a condom in it. I'm vomiting so hard.
Little finger condoms.
Yeah, fuck off. You don't know whose dildo you're using.
Oh God. Would you have it in your pocket?
No, and I'm just making that part up. Listen, I'm vomiting so hard. I start pissing my shorts. And like, I haven't broken the seal all night. So it's a lot of like, it's like exorcism pee now.
Yeah.
So I had exorcism vomit. Now I have exorcism pee, but I'm not, it's hard to explain. It's like dribbling out, but then when I vomit, it forces it out. So then it becomes like a waterfall, just comes out. Yeah. So I'm literally vomiting, pissing, crying right in front of the front entrance.
It sounds a lot like labor. Literally.
That's giving birth.
Yeah.
Pissing everywhere.
Yeah, and every time you have a contraction, like all of your water that's broken just gushes out.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. No wonder guys faint. I would die. I'd be like, I'm leaving. Yeah. You don't want to witness your child? No. Just let me know when it's out.
That's when they asked me, do you want us to bring this full-length mirror in front of you? We'll set it up so you can see the baby being born. I was like, fuck no. I don't. I understand it's like the beauty of life, but no, thank you.
No. No, thank you.
No. Nope, I'm good. Keep that mirror far away from me.
What a life that mirror has had. That's its life.
So
all right.
Gross.
So as soon as this concludes, like I'm still crying. The puking has concluded. I'm out of piss.
Friend?
Listen, I'm out of piss and vomit. And I guess my friend is wondering where I'm at because nobody came to help me. I think people walked by and they were just like,
right.
Typical night.
Yeah.
Typical Friday night. She comes out and she's like, what are you doing? Come inside. And I'm like, no, I can't. I threw up. And I point. She's like, come inside. I can't. I pissed myself. I'm wearing like a light tan cargo shorts. You can't tell that I pissed. It's completely soaked. So you can't tell because they're all soaked everywhere.
Oh my God.
And it's dark out. It's 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So she's like, no, you didn't. And I go, yeah, I did. Feel it. And she takes her hand and she grabs like my shorts and they're soaked. She's like, she starts laughing.
Right.
It's like, oh God. She's like, I already ordered us coffee and stuff. I'm like, I can't do it. She's like, all right, let's go home. So we get in the car. She's driving us home. She lives fucking far, so we have to get on the freeway. She's not going 65. She's going like 75, 80 to get me home because I'm just, I'm a horrible drunk right now.
Yeah.
And I'm the whole time in the car, I'm crying and hitting her, but like in a very soft feather way because I'm so trashed. Yeah. You let me drink too much. Like that the whole time, just crying. And just like if spit comes out, I grab it and I put it on her. She's being so sweet, Tony. She's rubbing my shoulder. She's like, I know, I'm sorry. You did it. The more nice she is, the angry I get. You know what I mean? The more angry I get with her.
Right.
And so I have to puke again. And I'm like, I tell her, I got puke again. And she's like, we're not stopping. Like, we got to get home.
Yeah.
And roll down the window. This is the first time I've done this too. So I roll down the window and I just have to start puking out the window going 75, 80 miles per hour.
Mm-hmm.
When you're going that fast, the wind just blows it into your cheek pocket in your mouth. It doesn't come out.
Oh, God.
So I'm just puking in my mouth and the wind is just blowing it against my cheek.
Spit it out.
So I'm spitting it out. It's going everywhere. It's coming back in the car, hitting her, hitting the steering wheel. It's all over the side of the car. Like I realized this in the morning. I get home, I start puking in the toilet. And then I literally fall asleep with my arms around the bottom of the toilet, the base of the toilet.
Oh, God.
And I'm just asleep there.
Yeah.
What a fucking night. And I go outside to look at it's my car. It's my blue Lancer.
Oh, no.
And I look on the passenger side and it's just covered in like splatter vomit. Like all in one direction. Like a forensic scientist could have found a pinpoint where
Dexter's gonna come.
Yeah.
Blood spatter analysis, your puke.
Right, where my stupid head was. And so that's a true story. The only other drunk I got like that was in Vegas. Also for my 21st. Listen, this was a year-long celebration.
Good Lord.
We're in Vegas. We're at Excalibur. and Excalibur has the casino in the middle and then 2 towers.
Yeah, I've stayed there.
Okay, so Tower 1 has rooms 1 through 400 or whatever, and Tower 2 has the same 1 through 400, but Tower 1 400, Tower 2 400, right? I'm in Tower 1 300 or something. I get pissed drunk on free Scooby snacks is the name of the drink while I'm at the slot machine. There's oh my God, this is when it started, Sarah. I just figured it out. There's a super femme gay guy next to me.
Oh.
And we end up giving each other hickeys because he's trash.
What the fuck?
Listen to me. I don't know.
In the middle of the bar?
No, we're playing on the slots getting free Scooby snacks.
In the middle of the casino, you start giving each other hickeys.
Right. In a funny way. Like we thought it was hilarious.
Hilarious.
He gave me a big old one. I gave him a big old one.
On your necks?
Yeah. We're just having a good old time.
Oh God.
So I get fucking pissed drunk again. I'm too drunk. I'm crying. I can't. The hallways at Excalibur are huge wide. Yeah. They're wide.
Yeah, they're like The Shining.
Right. They're not small like a
no,
hotel. They're wide. They're like 10 feet wide almost.
Yeah,
right?
That's what she said.
And I'm like a pinball in this hallway. I'm not kidding. Yeah. I'm hitting one side of the wall as I go forward, and then I hit the next wall, and then I hit the next wall, and I hit the next wall, left and right, the whole way down to my room. And my fucking key won't work in my room. The key has the number. I know I'm at the right room. It won't work. I collapse in the hallway across from the door, falling asleep, snoring loudly. Someone calls security for me. They're so nice, right? Vegas, right? And I have a key card. They know I stay there. I'm not causing any problems. I'm just too inebriated to get myself to my room.
Right.
And they wake me up, and I'm on the floor, and I'm like, I'm drunk. No. Can we help you? And I'm like, key won't work. I have this hickey from this gay guy.
I'm so sexually conflicted.
Yeah. Can you imagine your security guard? Here's this super butch lesbian telling you about the hickey from a gay guy. Because they're so trash. And he puts the key in there. It doesn't work. So I'm not crazy. And I'm just pissed drunk crying in the hallway. I'm circling, like when you stand but you wobble.
Mm-hmm.
This is me, right? But he calls in my name and everything. He's like, you're in the wrong tower, you idiot.
Right.
Tower 2. This is Tower 1. So Sarah, I have to go with the security guard all the way down the elevator, all the way across the casino, all the way up Tower 2's elevator while I'm pissed drunk. I can't even walk. And this guy has to help me to my room. And he does. He gets me all the way to my room. I go in my room. Where's my best friend who I came with at the time? Fucking passed out, happily snoring. And I just storm in there. Like, you know what I mean?
No idea what I've been through.
Where the fuck have you been? What are you doing? You know what I mean? She's just knocked the fuck out. She's done.
You happy we're adults and this doesn't happen to us anymore?
I would die if I did.
Except for me, last night I got way too stoned and lost my jewel and cried.
And it was in the middle of the room the whole time.
The next day I found it in the middle of the floor. Like,
yeah, you just cried in defeat.
But I spent a good hour crying and searching. And I kept telling my husband, I'm so stoned, just help me.
He's no.
He's like, just go to bed. Figure it out tomorrow. I'm not helping.
You are really needy when you're too drunk.
Oh my God, it was horrible. So I'd like to say that we don't act like that anymore. But I'm 30 and
you have that super needy voice. I haven't heard it a lot, but I know it well. And when your husband sent me a video, remember you guys went to that Christmas party? You got shit.
Oh yeah.
And you were crying and you were trying to have a bath. Remember?
Yeah, okay, because that's because I smoked like a huge joint to myself.
Go ahead.
And I drank a bunch of champagne. And I don't normally drink, like, ever. Mm-hmm. Like 2-3 times a year I drink. So I drank champagne and smoked this huge joint. And then I'm like, I'm gonna lay in my bathtub because I have a big bathtub, right? And I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna be awesome. And there's jets in the tub. And so
Go ahead.
I pour like half a bottle of the bubble stuff in there because I'm like, it's not working. Like, it's not
right.
A little bit of bubbles. It's not like like I want like a bubble bath, right? So I'm like, fuck it. I guess this shit is defective. I'd like pour the rest of the bottle in. Like, this is
no
shit. And then I get the water up high enough and I turn on the jets. And it was like, it was like out of every movie where like you leave your kids in the bathtub for too long and they fuck with all the bubbles. It was like that. It was just, there were, you couldn't even breathe because if you took a breath, you were just breathing in bubbles.
Were they high up, almost touching the ceiling?
Oh, they were literally they're spilled out of the tub. They were all over the floor. It was horrible. My husband's like, you are a fucking mess. Like, I am not participating. This is the least sexy bubble bath in the fucking world.
You sent me the audio. You're just so needy in it. Just help me. That was you. Why won't you help me? And I
couldn't get my necklace off. I had a choker on. I couldn't get it off. I thought it was choking me literally. I was gonna die. But I remember being in the bathtub and he helped me like scoop out some of the bubbles and literally just like threw them on the floor because I just wasn't ready to like say this bath is trash.
Put it in a bag?
No, you just scooped them out of the bathtub and onto the floor. Like you're gonna deal with this tomorrow.
Right.
And so I was just laying in the bath and I'm like one of the most fucked up I've ever been. And I just kept going like further and further under the tub. And I was like, oh no, I'm going to die in here. And I kept thinking that to myself, like, I'm going to die in this tub tonight full of bubbles. But I wasn't doing anything about it. In my head, I'm not doing anything about it, right? I'm just laying there like accepting my fate. And then my husband comes in like, what are you crying about? I was literally...
Because I'm going to die.
I'm in my head. I'm not doing anything. I'm just letting it happen. I'm just letting it wash over me. But in actuality, I'm in there crying.
Nothing's happening.
For help.
Yeah. You're just crying in the tub in actuality.
Get me into bed, get this stupid necklace off of me. In the midst of all this, he's taking videos and I'm like, let me give you a blowjob. I'm crying. He's like, fuck no. Go to bed. And I'm like, why are you rejecting me? Don't you think I'm pretty?
Yeah. Yeah, you were doing that too in the video. You don't think I'm pretty?
Yeah. The worst.
You really are a terrible drunk.
And I passed out and was fine the next day.
Listen, you're a terrible drunk. So am I, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hooking up with gay guys, apparently.
We're exhausting drunks.
Yeah, we're exhausting drunks.
Which is why we really don't drink.
Yeah. It's not a good idea. You need to calm down with how much you smoke. When I smoked with you, oh my God. I knew you were done. I knew you were gone. And you would reach for more, just like out of autopilot. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know. Someone help me.
Yes, someone help me. And then you wouldn't, and then you'd pop a cigarette, which just makes it worse.
I don't smoke anymore.
No, I know. I'm saying back then.
I know. I was just letting the listeners know. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. Smoke a shit ton of weed.
Yeah, you're addicted to a flash drive. I don't smoke weed anymore. I can't. My new job won't allow it with my medical card.
I know.
What's the worst?
Soon it will be legal everywhere.
Or if the federal government.
Michigan.
If the federal government recognizes the medical benefits, then I'm in the green.
Legalize it.
I'm in the green. All right. Bye, guys. Thanks for listening to this one.
Yeah. You know where to find us. We don't know. Oh, check out last week's
episode.
Instagram episode and Instagram. I posted a couple pictures from our vacation.
And this one's at Instagram.
Did you see our Instagram post?
Oh, my mom got the.
I know. I got a text from her.
Professional photos. She ordered them.
I know. I texted your mom all day today.
4 or 6 by 8. What about what? Go ahead. Don't give me a look like you're sexting her or something. What'd you text her? Freak.
Sexting your mother. No, we talked about the pig pictures and stuff. But in my in last week's Instagram post, I posted pictures of us holding baby pigs in the Bahamas and drinking out of a coconut, and then weirdo Jim Jones. So you can check those out. And
weirdo Jim Jones. Sounds like he was on the cruise with us.
this weirdo
Some
we
weird
met,
guy.
Jones.
Kept trying to get us to drink Kool-Aid.
Yeah. And then after this episode, I'll a day or two later I end up posting reference photos for this, so you'll get to see Marshall Applewhite and their away team patches and all that good stuff.
For real though, what are we doing on the next one?
I really don't know. So maybe send us some ideas, guys.
You want to do a funny one?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Have a comment or email us at thispodcastsoundsexhausting.
I don't want to do that.
They might.
Their ideas might suck, and then we're gonna not, and then what? And then we're stuck with it.
Don't send us sucky ideas, guys. Just send us your best ones.
Well, that girl died, Lorraine.
Oh yeah, I did already kind of do a Warren episode with the Amityville Horror.
Oh, the Warrens. Oh, you did?
I don't know. This is something we could discuss off air. Goodbye, everybody.
All right, bye.